Today, we are going to be launching our first book, which has been dedicated to the twin subjects of affordable housing and inclusive cities. This book provides comparative insights across 20 countries and is being launched globally through Oro Publications of California.
I want to begin by telling you that we live today in very strange, daunting times in the history of urbanization. There are 1.2 billion people who lack adequate shelter, and there are an estimated 900 million people that live in habitats that you and I commonly call slums. So there is a crisis going on of paramount proportions of affordable housing. Is really a fantastic opportunity of making cities livable. And what that means is we think it's a crisis, but if you imagine plugging that crisis with all the other issues, access to public space, access to infrastructure, mobility for all, if all these aspirational issues are somehow coming into the picture, making shelter for everyone, I think of the crisis, the nature of a crisis changes to become a fantastic opportunity.
Millions of Indians continue to live without ownership or even many of them access to a decent living accommodation. It is a challenge. Housing requires space, housing requires technology, it requires skilled manpower that can design, plan, execute, maintain housing complexes, but housing is the heart of any city. This publication, Affordable Housing and Inclusive Cities, couldn't have come at a better time. The book represents a kind of a confluence of ideas coming from different disciplines. The idea of what is called the quadruple helix. It's an idea that comes from countries in Europe. The partnership between government, local institutions, local business and industry, and local communities. That's the quadruple, sort of the four corners of the effort of making livable cities. And I think this publication also highlights the importance of having all of those voices.
There is something fundamentally wrong in carrying on with cities where the number of cars continues to increase. It goes at the cost of inclusivity, without doubt. It goes at the cost of health. Do you know how many people die every year, roughly, in all the wars around the world? It's almost every year around 100,000, 120,000, 80,000, 90,000. That's roughly the number. A lot. But do you know how many people die because of urban mobility around the world? And that is 10 times that. It's more than 1 million. So the battle is being fought in our streets, on our streets, and not on the battlefields, actually. In certain parts of the cities, they really should not be welcome, and pedestrians should have a free space. And the trick is that if you do that, then the amount of public spaces and the roads, 18 meters and 16 meters and 24 meters, they'll get reduced to 6 meters, because that's where people are comfortable, because that's where buildings shade the streets. So the government will be able to sell much more land, basically. The cost of infrastructure goes down, and then you use that money, basically, to create pedestrian-friendly atmosphere. And this doesn't mean that the cities have to be changed tomorrow, but it can be done incrementally. So slowly existing cities can evolve too. And it'll be cheaper and healthier and better for all of us.